This is part of our continuing series, which we call Music as Sacred Path. And the idea is that one can use audition, or our capacity to hear, those of us blessed with the capacity to hear, as a kind of contemplative practice or a meditative practice, simply by connecting to the sound and allowing it to work its magic on us. And when we find ourselves thinking about something else, reminding us of something, or being distracted, whatever it is, we can just come back to the sound. This is something, I'm professor at the School of Music, and I invite my students to listen in this way, which is not what they're taught, actually. They're taught to listen for pitch, or for rhythm, or to have their fingers in the right place, and that just actually to enjoy the sensuous pleasure of sound is something that's sometimes it's crowded out in the technical aspects of making music at this high level. So please enjoy in that way. Let it wash over you. I always say that ask my students sometimes, have they had goosebumps lately? Or have they had tears? And if not, why not? Because that's what music often does to us. Right? So we're blessed to have amazing, amazing students at University of Kentucky School of Music. And my case in point here are three amazing guitarists. Daniel Monroy will be the first performer. Daniel is from Mexico. And Veracruz?
Juarez City.
Juarez City. Juarez City. All right, you're a student of
Ricardo.
Ricardo, yeah. He's also played here, yeah. Second generation. Great. I'm not sure what he's going to play, but I am sure it is going to be wonderful. It's okay, babies are fine. It's good for them, and they're good for us, obviously. I'm not sure what he's going to play, but as soon as I walked in, I got goosebumps. So I know it's going to be good. I'll let him introduce it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I will play, but before I just want to tell you, thank you for inviting me again. So this is gonna be a really beautiful place that I will always remember because this is the first place where I played here in Lexington. So I am glad that I hope that I can keep playing next years.
I guarantee it.
Well, thank you very much. The first set of pieces that I will play, it's from Emilio Pujol, 3 Spanish pieces, Tonadilla, Tango, and Guajira. I hope you enjoy it. So for the next and final part of my participation, I will play from Leo Brouwer's Sonata, first and third movements, Fandangos y Boleros, and La Toccata de Pasquini. Thank you very much.
is a doctoral student, and this is his second year, right?
Yes.
Second year, and also a world-class player. What are you going to play?
I'm going to play Bach Prelude, Fugue, and Allegro.
Great.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As I was saying, the piece that I'm going to play is called Prelude, Fugue, and Allegro. It is a full piece divided in 3 sections, which bear the names that I just mentioned. For me, I like to put myself in a storyline that gets me to what I think is being in the shoes of the composer, to a certain extent, to the best of my imagination. Johann Sebastian Bach is known to have been a very religious man. So his music, and as far as I am concerned, it is very palpable, his deep belief in a higher being when we listen to his music. I have dared to put stories to this piece that I am going to play, but the stories keep changing as I play them over the months. So I'm just going to propose an idea that you can, of course, change it to make it your own. This is a work of art that was composed a few centuries back, played by a contemporary man, and heard by you. So we are kind of making our own stories here. The thing that I think is going on here, or can be seen, the first, I think it could be seen as a plea or a prayer of the man to God. And then the second one, it begins with an individual line that then gets a second line added, and they are intervealing, and then it gets another line. So we have 3 melodies working at the same time, and for me, this could be seen as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit conversing. So the man prays, and then the 3 sides of God try to make a decision about the plea of the man. Within the second part, the conversation of God with himself, there's a division of one part, a second one, and then the repetition of the first one, which also for me is like they are in conversation, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And then the second part is like they have come to an agreement. And then the repetition of the first part is like, did we make the right choice, the right decision? Let's converse it again. And then that finishes, and the third part of the story comes, where I think it could be seen either as the answer itself, or maybe even the communion of the man and God in connection, in full connection. So that's what I propose for the story. You can, of course, change it as you please.
Geraldo Neto from Brazil. And welcome. What will you be playing?
I will be performing 3 pieces today. Well, actually, 5 in total. But the first one will be by the French composer Benoit Albert. The second movement of his Siegfried Suite, the Allemand. Then the second piece is by a Brazilian composer called Serge Assad, Valsiana. Valsiana is part of a 3-movement piece called Encore. And then to finish, I'm gonna finish playing some Mexican music with music by the composer Juan Trigos, which I'm gonna play the 4th and 5th movement of his Partita for solo guitar, which features a little surprise by the end.
And I think that's going to be your dissertation too, right, on Trigos?
No,
Yeah.
my dissertation, which is almost done to be honest, but it's about the piece that Juan Trigos wrote for me. It's called Relojerias Sensibles, which I wouldn't know how to translate, but maybe sensible clockmaking, something like that. Something like that.
Swiss, yeah. Well, I should say I had asked if they could bring some vocalists to have guitar and voice, and we did have some of Sydney's voice, and then I think concerts in Western classical music tend to be like a church, that there's a constant, this one-pointed focus, and a cell phone going off, or a siren, or anything, a child fussing, or someone trying to open a cough drop quietly, slowly, are obstacles in a way. But there's another way of listening, that all sound is sacred, so that the sound of the child, the sound of the siren, even though it's not part of the formal music, it's part of this experience. So we needn't let it disturb us. So, yeah.
Great. Okay, so the first piece by French composer Benoit Albert, the Allemand from the Siegfried Suite. So this was the Allemand from Siegfried Suite, the second suite by Benoit Albert. I think it's worth mentioning that all the music, my entire program today is composed by living composers. It's all 21st century music, actually. They're all composers born in the 20th century, but it's all 21st century music for sure. So this, I think I can say a little bit about the story of this next piece that I'm gonna be playing. This is the second movement of Aquarelle, and Sergio Assad composed Aquarelle for the incredible guitar player David Russell. So it's dedicated to him. He recorded in one of his CDs, and he composed the first movement and the third one, but he didn't have the second one. So the second one actually came as an improvisation. He needed something to fill out that gap, and yes, he always says. I mean, I know Sergio. I met him a couple of years ago. He lives in Chicago nowadays, if he hasn't moved yet, but he used to live in Chicago. And yeah, so he told me the same thing. He said that he was in the studio, and it came first as an improvisation. But it's a really tender piece. Really, it was one of probably the first piece that I heard by him, and I kind of like fell in love with that music. Aside from the fact that I think we all look for someone to represent us, and in this case, I am from Brazil, so to have a Brazilian composer like him, a guitar player, I could see myself doing something like that someday. So that was really important for me, I guess. But that's it. Hope you guys like it. I have this tendency of I always want to play like something hard by the end. I don't know why I do that. So yeah, now it's like the big challenge of the night. The Partita by Juan Trigos, it's an incredible piece. It's actually a work of, I can say, around 23 minutes, which I have been performing. I performed that in Brazil. I was there over the summer and I played in a guitar festival. It always gives me, like I get a little bit nervous when I perform this piece, for sure. Not because it's too long, but it's the way that the guitar is played. Everything is different. The language of the music is different, is more modern. For today I decided to play the fourth and the fifth movement. They don't have a name, they're just numbered. And Juan coined the term abstract folklore. He identifies his music as music that is abstract folklore. To try to explain that in a few simple words, it would be music that is highly rhythmical, polyphonic, and it always has that thing about having a really steady pulsation that comes from a sort of ritualistic perspective, in my opinion. This very same composer wrote a piece for me. This piece which I mentioned this evening, it's Relojerías Sensibles, and I haven't played that piece yet because when I do that, it's going to be the first time that someone will play it. It's going to be the premiere. And that's something that's going to happen soon, probably in November, by the latest, in November at the University of Kentucky. So yeah, as soon as I schedule the recital, if you guys would like to come listen to a really interesting, because it is a really different work for guitar, you're more than welcome to be there. I would be really glad.
Are you playing Maxwell or?
Probably Niles Gallery. Yeah, because it's a lecture recital, so I also need the projector. Yeah, the Fine Arts Library. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a different recital because I will be first talking about the piece and just later playing it, and it will be that single piece. It's a requirement for my DMA. Okay, so this is Partita by Juan Trigos. Just see if I've... Okay. Yeah, I always need to check the angles over here. Yeah.
So you're just going to listen and
Keep playing.
just play. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna be playing with me. Okay.
Yeah. Somehow we're going to, this is an improv.
Let's see what happens. It's an experiment. Next year are gonna prepare it better.
But it won't be an improv.
What are you playing?
Okay,
He's playing his
well,
own piece, yeah.
so it's this piece I composed it, so it's a funny story. Well, not funny, but so I composed it after my divorce, and its name is Hopeful. So I think that it's kind of matched because one thing that saved me to like be better was my guitar. So I came after that to do my master, to pursue my career. So it's funny, or not funny, like it's wonderful that it's gonna be with the ode to the guitar, a piece that I composed, like to be hopeful to be better.
I didn't know that.
No, it's something.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
So I hope you like it, the
Yeah.
combination of us, the team.
So this is Oda a la Guitarra de Pablo Neruda. Línea pura de corazón sonoro. Eres la claridad cortada al vuelo, cantando sobrevives. Todo se irá menos tu forma.
Slender, perfect profile of a musical heart. You are clarity itself, captured in flight. Through song you endure. Your shape alone will never pass away.
No sé si el llanto ronco de ti se desploma, tus toques de tambor, tu enjambre de alas. ¿Será de ti lo mío? ¿O si eres en silencio más decididamente arrobadora? Sistema de paloma o de cadera, molde que de su espuma resucita y aparece, turgente, reclinada y y el canto, el matrimonio que el hombre consumó con su guitarra, los olvidados besos, la inolvidable ingrata, y así se transformó la noche entera en estrellada caja de guitarra.
It is the harsh grief that pours out of you, your thrumming beats, your buzzing of wings. Is that what I'll recall? Or are you thoroughly thrilling in silence? The dove schematized on a woman's hip, a pattern that emerges from a phone that reappears, a turgid tumbling and resurrected rose. Beneath a fig tree, by the rough running river Bio Bio, you left your nest like a bird, guitar, and delivered to swarmy hands those long-lost trysts, muffled sobs, and endless successions of farewells. Song poured out of you, a marriage between man and guitar, forgotten kisses from an unforgiving lady. In this way, the entire night became the star-studded body of a guitar. The firmament trembled in its musical canopy, while the river tuned its infinite strings, sweeping toward the sea, a pure tide of scent and sorrows. O rich solitude that arrives with the night, solitude like bread made of earth, solitude sung by a river of guitars. The world shrinks to a single drop of honey, or one star, and through the leaves, everything is blue, trembling. All heaven sings.
Oh soledad sabrosa con noche venidera, soledad como el pan terrestre, soledad con un río de guitarras. El mundo se recoge en una sola gota de miel, en una estrella, todo es azul entre las hojas, toda la altura temblorosa canta.
Thank you very much.
Maybe he wants to play with
feel like experiences like this, that music allows us to really listen. It opens the heart, mind to whatever it is, in a way of tenderness, sadness, and joy. So beautifully captured. So magic happens here. And thank you for making it happen, being part of it.